ahead of what is an absolutely crucial game later on today against Crystal Palace, where we simply got to win. There's no getting around it. We need the 3 points. It's a big one. We're obviously in the business end of the season now. It's crucial, but it also means that summer's approaching. And there's talk of transfers. We've got a lot of going on at the moment. XWH employee actually has been quite cagey about certain players that we're linked with. I think he's playing it quite close to his chest because of the situation surrounding David Moyes. And I think they want to, I think as well, there was that risk he was saying that he feels like if he reports on certain transfer targets and things like that, it's almost like they go, well, you're saying all that because the club is letting these names out because they want to sell season tickets and all this sort of stuff. So at the moment, it's not been quite evident exactly who we're going for in terms of lot, because let's be honest, West Ham are going to be busy. We're going to be really busy this summer. There's so much going on. We could have a new manager coming in. We could have we've got Lucas Paqueta possibly leaving. We've got players out of contract. We've got players coming, aging and having to leave. There's so much going on at this club at the moment this summer. So it's going to be busy. Whatever happens, we know it's going to be busy. But we have had some update from X. Now, first of all, it's regarding the strikers. This is the situation. We know that we need a new striker at this club. It's evident. I mean, don't get me wrong, Mikel Antonio has been fantastic since he returned from injury. He really has. It's been a real breath of fresh air. Been amazing. We cannot keep relying on this guy. It's ridiculous. And we're going to have to invest in the striker. There's no getting around it now. We cannot get around it. We've been waiting for West Ham to get it sorted out. We brought in Hilaire. It didn't work out, and then they've not really replaced him. They brought in Scamacca. It didn't work out. We then haven't replaced him. It's just a constant struggle getting it sorted. It's one we've just got to get right. I don't know what it is with this football club and strikers, but it just feels like it's a never-ending conveyor belt of struggle. I mean, we've had to convert our winger into a striker, and he's been our best striker we've had at the club for ages. And obviously, I know we've got Kudus and Bowen. We have got goals from other places, but we do need a firing striker. We need a focal point up front. So it's important we get it right. And we've been given a bit of an update. So XWH employee has advised that West Ham have got scouts at the moment out in Greece. They're looking at Fotis Ioannidis. I checked that name out. I got it right. I pronounced it. I think I did try and attempt it a few weeks ago on a video. It was a bit of a cock up. So Ioannidis, we're interested in. 6'2", 24 years old, 21 goals this season. Played out in Greece. I mean, he's been really in good form and powerful striker. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it, to get too excited at the moment about certain players exactly because we don't know who the manager's going to be. That's the big question that's hanging over West Ham at the moment. It's almost like that's the big thing that's clouding the club is David Moyes and his future. Who's going to be in charge for next season? My understanding of it is it's going to be Tim Steidten leading the kind of recruitment drive, and they're going to be looking for a head coach should that David Moyes leave. Well, unless David Moyes signs his contract as being a head coach, that's what I understand the arrangement to be. If that's the case, so it's. Well, we know for a fact that we've got scouts out in Greece watching this player. So it's not to say that nothing can happen here. There seems to be something in this because we've reported on this quite a few times. And this is the name that X has then made very clear that we are looking at. And this has also come up from a couple of other outlets as well. And a couple of journalists, etc., suggesting that this could happen. So, I think this is certainly one to keep an eye on. As I say, got a very good record at the moment this season. And when you look at his goals, you look at how he performs. I don't know enough about the player, but you look at how he performs. He's doing very well. So yeah, I think this is definitely one that we need to be keeping an eye on as West Ham fans, to be honest. And we've also got this. So Tim Steidten at the moment is out in Brazil as we speak, but we have got scouts and working tirelessly in Germany and in France for looking. I think they're desperate to try and find some. He's a pearl diver, isn't he, Steidten? They want to go and find these players that they can unearth and then work out that they're going to, hopefully work well in playing in the Premier League, and then we can then move them on at a later date if need be for a hefty profit. So, and it's the model we need to adopt. We've always said it. We don't want to keep going down the route of overspending on players, and it just hasn't worked. We've really suffered from it at times. So I think it's right that we have a better strategy when it comes to recruitment, and I think that's what we're getting now from Tim Steidten. You look at other strikers as well. Dominic Solanke. This name is continually being cropped up in terms of West Ham and Solanke. I mean, will it happen? I don't know. It's hard to see, isn't it? Because of the amount of competition we're going to have for the striker. Tottenham are very keen, and so are Arsenal. Thing is, though, it is presenting a bit of an opportunity, I think, for West Ham in terms of Ivan Toney. Because My gut tells me that both of those players will be on the move this summer from their respective club. Solanke will be leaving Bournemouth, I'm sure. He's going to see this now as his perfect opportunity now for a step up, competing, hopefully playing European football. I'm assuming that's what he's going to want. That's why it was so vital West Ham get a European finish this season. I think if we're looking at a recruitment drive, we need to be offering European football. It's a big seller, even if it's the Conference League. It really does help us. And it's where we're going to struggle when you've got the likes of Tottenham or etc. being able to offer things like Champions League, if they can. It's not going to help us at all. But what's interesting is what seems to be coming out recently is that Ivan Toney, who West Ham continue to get linked with, but we've always sort of expected him to be moving on to possibly Arsenal. I've always felt that would be the likely move for him, or possibly Chelsea. Is that I think that's cooling. I get the feeling that the Toney link to these sort of top clubs is starting to dwindle. I don't know whether it's really there. I don't know what it's to do with, whether it's to do with his attitude. I'm hearing that might be the case. Or it may just be the fact that he's 28 years old. And some clubs are thinking, do we really want to spend 40, 50 million pounds, etc., whatever it's going to need to take to get him, maybe more, to bring in a striker that's probably going to be playing at the top level for another 3 or 4 seasons? I don't know. I get the feeling that they are looking at other options. Solanke's looking at a more what's the word, like tempting offer, because of how he plays, his age, and etc. etc. I mean, and obviously he's got Premier League experience. He's in great form at the moment. And I mean, personally, for me, if I had to have a choice, who I'd want at West Ham, Dominic Solanke would be my choice. I think I've been really, really impressed with him, especially this season. He's been remarkable. I would happily have him at West Ham. But you do wonder now, when you look at Solanke, whether that's going to be a viable option for West Ham just because of the competition. But what it could open the door for is Ivan Toney. Because if Ivan Toney's not got the Arsenal or Chelsea move that he's desiring, which could possibly offer him, Chelsea obviously won't be able to offer him European football. They might be able to offer him European football. They can't offer him Champions League. Arsenal, of course, will be able to. But if they're not interested, then that's when the likes of your Newcastles, your Villas, and your West Ham start to creep into the mix. Because then they can say, well, look, you've come play for us. All right, we might not be competing in Champions League, but you're going to be competing. And that could be the best move for him. So this could open a door, actually, in regards to Ivan Toney. But then you look at West Ham. Are they going to fall into that bracket as well? West Ham going to be willing to pay 40, 50 million pounds for a striker for a few years? I don't know. But it's a big opportunity. It could be a big opportunity for West Ham to fill that void, to bring that striker in and make the big difference. It's very early at the moment, very early to get too excited, I think, about transfers, as I've said, because of the situation with Moyes. We just don't know what's going on. But there's definitely some truth in Ivan Eedis, even. Nearly got it. I think that for the fact that we continue being linked with this player, and it's now hotting up, and this is coming out quite a fair bit in the press, I think that's certainly one that we do need to be keeping a fair amount of eye on him, because seeing how he performs as well till now in the end of the season, because that could be one that West Ham could be making a formal bid for. I really do. But I'd like to know your thoughts, actually, on where you would sit in terms of who you want to bring in this season, this summer even, in terms of Ivan Toney, Solanke, etc. I mean, Solanke for me is the ideal one, but would you have Toney at West Ham? I can't not be excited by it. If West Ham are going to bring in Ivan Toney, as much as I sort of think to myself, yeah, he's 28. Look, attitude's always been a little bit questionable, I think, at times, but there's no denying his ability. And you think if we can get him firing at West Ham and fitting into our side, then that could be a remarkably good signing for us. Because let's be honest, that's what we need. We just need that extra bit of firepower up front. We really do. And if you can keep Kudus and keep Bowen and you had someone like Ivan Toney up front, I think it'd be quite exciting. And I do think there's something in that. I feel like the situation, the fact it's all cooling now with other clubs, is really paving a possible opportunity here for the club. But will West Ham be able to do it? I've said previously in a video that this is why I want West Ham to act on the David Moyes situation soon. I don't want us to be dilly-dallying. I don't want us to get to the summer when the transfer window opens and then go, right now we've got to try and sort out a manager situation. Oh, right, we're going to look for one. And then we're going to sort out players, because that could be too late. West Ham needs to be on the front foot, especially when you've got an opportunity like possibly signing Ivan Toney. As I say, I'm not saying that will definitely happen, and I'm not convinced it will. I'd like to know your thoughts, though, on it. But Ivan Eedis, though, yeah, that's certainly one that West Ham fans need to be keeping an eye on.